two,
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, welcome to Filmmaker Mike and the boys. Joining me for tonight's emergency episode is Sequester Jester,
Hello, everyone.
Pinhead,
What's up?
and Kuya.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah. We
Mhm.
are doing our second emergency episode. This is what the last one was not too long ago, November, I want to say,
Yeah.
last month. So, but with the news that broke today, uh, I already had a feeling like I did message you guys like get ready because we're most likely, depending on what they announce, we're most likely going to have to do something because I feel like by the time we get to a few days to Saturday, of course, other stuff aside from the other news that I've already compiled from the week, there's just too much in today's huge Disney investor live stream and announcement that they discussed. So I do want to share, of course, starting off, they kick things off by sharing how Disney Plus is doing and what their goals are internationally. They announced this Star, which I thought was also going to be available in the US, but that's only internationally. Um, and then they talked about Hulu and how they've grown. And if you guys remember last episode, we did talk that there's rumors that they would somehow integrate Hulu with Disney Plus to have more adult and mature content. But they're doing that with Star. So I'm wondering if they're eventually going to somehow integrate Hulu within Disney Plus itself with how they're doing it with Star. Um, it's pretty cool what they showed. Because,
So
yeah, go ahead.
the Star's gonna have the more adult
Yes,
entertainment.
a lot of the
So like the aliens and the Predator and stuff like that.
a lot of the rated R content, a lot of the rated R films from Fox or from Century. Yeah. So if they're doing it for international markets, what's gotten me questioning is why not here?
Yeah, see, that's what I want to know. That's my question because that's an issue for me. That's an issue because why exactly? Why just internationally? Why? Why can't we get a taste of it over here in the States? So I really, that's my question I would like to have answered somewhere down the line.
Are you using them as guinea pigs?
Why? And if not, is it going to come to the States? And if not, why is it not coming to the States?
Right. I think they are. Yeah, they're essentially testing it in the international market and see how it's going to do. And they also announced with that when they're adding Star and of course more content, they are raising the price like in Europe to like um, to like €8 or 8.99, something like that. So a few more bucks in essence. But I think if they get a lot of feedback, especially from fans and subscribers here in the US, like what are you going to do for subscribers here? I think they're definitely going to listen. They can't ignore the subscribers here as well. So I think it's just a test phase. But yeah, they went through those, and then they also went through a bunch of other stuff with Hulu and like what they're planning and how they've grown. And they showed like a highlight reel of Hulu and FX, which they did announce the Alien series, which they are working with. They're working closely with the man himself,
Ridley Scott.
Ridley Scott. Yes.
That's
So
the only issue I have. Other than that, it's an exciting endeavor, but Ridley Scott being on board, I really don't know.
right, and then it is going to be set not too far in the future here on Earth, which is quite fascinating because everything alien we've gotten is always off in the distant galaxy, nowhere near Earth. But this is, so it's going to be interesting. They also did show the next season of the Handmaid's Tale or Handmaiden's Tale. Is it
Handmaid's Tale. It's The Handmaid's Tale.
So seeing that already got me like, okay, I need to get on this series because it looks. I've heard nothing but great stuff. Of course,
It's rough to watch. Like my wife watches it, and like I can only handle so much.
right.
It's pretty.
It's a really good series, but yeah, there are
Very, adult theme.
Oh yeah,
Right.
sure.
It's just rough, man. It's gritty.
Yeah, but yeah, they showed a highlight reel from that, and that's their biggest show on Hulu. So
I'm not surprised.
right,
Yeah.
and
It's
they
well
also
done.
showed integration with ESPN, lots of great stuff as far as sports. So really cool
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. They're doing a great job with at first when I heard they were integrating ESPN, I was like, oh no. But I can speak from a person who's really kind of becoming an addiction now at this point, especially with the UFC vault that they have there. The ESPN stuff they're doing it's the best thing that could have happened to ESPN is that when that was part of the deal, because there's some really, really good content on ESPN Plus.
Right. They brought that up, and the UFC fights and everything. So it's something that
That Bruce
we
Lee
don't normally,
documentary, I mean,
right. It's something that we don't normally talk about, but then again, it's out there, and a lot of people watch sports, so it makes sense. And then of course, and I actually was mostly listening. I was having there was a link that I shared on my Facebook with the live stream, and they would do intermissions, and I was just like, okay, like can we move on? But it was live, so you got to wait for it. So they finally got to Bob Iger, and of course he talked about what they were doing with Disney Plus and how they've started and the goals that they've met. They essentially they had a 5-year plan to hit about where they're at right now, which is what, like 80 plus million subscribers, something like that. That was a 5-year plan, but they hit it in 8 to 9 months. So the pandemic, of course, rushed the fact that people wanted to, and of course the huge hit that is The Mandalorian. That is essentially like the biggest thing that's drawn people to get it, of course. And then he did mention, like, the quality of their story will always come first. They want to make sure that the stories they tell reflects the world that we live in today, with a diverse group of an audience with different people coming from different walks of life, which I think is great. And then of course he introduced Kathy Kennedy, who now kicked things off with Lucasfilm. And as she started, she basically mentioned the big hit that the Mandalorian has been for season 1 ever since they launched, and last year for Disney Plus. And then they did a recap of season 2 of the Mandalorian. They showed a recap trailer, which is pretty much everything that we've seen. It was a great edited trailer of what we've seen so far, except for tonight's brand new chapter, of course. And then when I was watching it, I was just like, my goodness, when you see it in that scope, and that in the trailer that they cut, like we've gotten so much in this second season that is just mind-boggling. Like they just stepped it up from the action, the characters, the locations, everything. So that was really cool. And then of course, Kathy Kennedy finally moved on to announcing brand new things. Of course, she announced the brand new series that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are both simultaneously working on, and is currently in development, and that is the Star Wars Rangers of the New Republic and the Ahsoka series, which are both simultaneously going to be set in the timeline of The Mandalorian. So
it's the Mandoverse, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. And we're probably gonna see crossing over of characters and here, in the series. So that was really cool, and that was a cool surprise that we're getting something for the New Republic. And then of course Ahsoka, which has been heavily rumored. And then I may go out of sequence as far as what was announced, because again, there's just like so much information. Like, and as I was watching, I was taking screenshots because they would flash the titles, the cool fonts, like for the first time, they're revealing a lot of this stuff. She did mention, of course, Andor, which is the Cassian Andor series spinoff. And they showed a highlight reel of what's his name, Cassian Andor.
Diego Luna.
Diego Luna, yes, thank you. Yeah. So, and I was surprised to see Diego Luna when they put his name. Of course, he's obviously playing Cassian Andor, but he's also serving as an executive producer on the show. And I was like really impressed the fact that they gave him a role, an integral role in the development of this series. And the highlight reel that they showed, they were showing like all these animatronics, these maquettes, these costumes, the sets, everything that they're working on. And they even mentioned like even the crew that they were interviewing, and you can see a lot of them are working during the pandemic. They were filming right now, of course. They're currently in production. A lot of them have masks. They're filming in Europe, and a lot of them were even saying like the level of detail that they have that they're working on in the show is the same level of detail that they work on in the film. It's like making a Star Wars film.
That's pretty awesome.
It's like the Mandalorian, I assume.
Yeah,
That's the new go-to playbook, I think. So,
yeah,
no
essentially.
surprise.
And then they also mentioned that they have for Andor, it's going to be 12 episodes. So 12 episodes, 12 scripts, 12 different.
So
I'm not sure if it's 12 different directors, but it's 12 episodes.
so they're doing like a mini series, like Obi-Wan, right?
Yes, I'm not sure if it's just going to be a one and done deal, because of course, obviously this is a prequel. But
Mhm.
when you talk to a lot of hardcore original trilogy fans, out of what's currently out there, aside from before we got the Mandalorian, we only got the sequel trilogy and of course the spin-off films. When you ask the hardcore guys and gals that grew up with the original trilogy, Rogue One for them is the closest that Disney nailed it to.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh,
so
yeah, totally.
I think what Disney has realized is that now we have a chance to expand on that Rogue One feel and that story by doing the series. So essentially, that's what it feels like they're doing, which I think is great. They introduced the cast, and the thing is, like, they were showing the pictures, but it was just going so fast, so I didn't get a whole lot of screenshots. But I'm sure, like, if you go online, you'll find it there. The next thing I want to talk about, of course, is the big one, which got me like really pumped up because a lot of these things, of course, like Star Wars: The Bad Batch, they showed a trailer. It looks awesome. We knew it was coming. They announced it earlier this year after the Clone Wars ended. And of course, the long rumored Ahsoka series, that's going to be incredible. But of course, the next thing that Kathy Kennedy talked about was the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. We all know it's happening. The plan before, I guess, was, and even Ewan McGregor mentioned it in an interview, was that it was supposed to be a spin-off film. It then evolved into a series, which makes perfect sense, of course, because now anything that you can make into a mini series, you just can invest so much more with an audience when you break down a story and you have, instead of just telling a story in 2 hours, why, you can expand and take your time telling a story and do 10 or 12 or whoever, however many more hours. So when she mentioned the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, of course, she kicked it off by essentially saying Hayden Christensen is coming back as Darth Vader. And there's even video of her on TikTok. Someone posted that, and I guess I blanked out. All I heard was Hayden Christensen is coming back as Darth Vader, and I just flipped out. Like, but there is video of her saying that this will be the rematch of the century. So when she said that, I was like, "Holy, oh my god!" Like, so we're gonna see.
So
We're
they're gonna meet up again.
Well, remember, if you remember in A New Hope, when Vader sees Obi-Wan Kenobi, Vader says, "The last time I saw you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master." And yes, you can. That could directly reference, of course, to Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
But they can, and this is the thing, anything is possible.
Yeah,
They
especially when that money's online.
Exactly. We can see them meet somehow and fight, and still that it'll still they'll figure out a way to make it make sense. Essentially, that's
I don't know how I feel about that.
That's and that's the thing. Like, why would she say the rematch of the century
Right.
if they're not going to meet and fight, you know? And
Yeah.
Because Kathy Kennedy's full of shit. That's why.
well, a lot of fans, I shared the screenshots on my Facebook.
I'm just saying.
A lot of other people even said she's still there, she's still working there. Well, whether you liked what she did or she didn't, she's still working there, and we're getting all these things because of Kathy Kennedy. She has worked with Steven Spielberg. She has worked. There's a reason why George Lucas chose her, you know, so to get the job. It's not like
she's not going anywhere. I don't know why
No,
people
she's
keep
not.
thinking that she's going
No,
anywhere.
she's not
she's
going
not.
anywhere.
And a lot of lot of fans.
The issue that I'm thinking of the people are gonna be going, or they're gonna have issues with is because the duel of the fates, that was the only battle between Obi-Wan and
Right.
Anakin, right?
Right,
That
until A
to
New
me-
Hope.
So yeah,
Yeah.
other than the New Hope or the whatever pseudo battle that they had over there, but that's Alec Guinness and David Prowse, so that's
Right,
Yeah.
and that's why, like, right as of now, I mean, with what she said, I'm just going off with what she said. It seems like that's what we're going to end up seeing in this series. Now,
Was there in like any part of the expanded universe that you guys know, or any of the books or the comic books that the Obi-Wan and Darth Vader fought each
Not
other?
that I know of.
not that I know of.
I don't think so.
No.
Okay.
And that's, I mean, I don't know. That kind of concerns me. Like I had high hopes for Obi-Wan, and like now I'm a little concerned.
So, and then
That doesn't
another
mesh
thing
right.
that a lot of other fans have also mentioned is that Hayden will most likely be in the Darth Vader, but then we're also most likely going to see flashbacks of him
Right.
with Obi-Wan, and we could even get flashbacks in the Clone Wars. And now that Hayden's back, we could even get flashbacks with Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
No,
yeah.
no.
right.
Maybe they can do like they're like, they're not really dueling, but they're practicing or whatever. And maybe that's the rematch that she's talking about. Like, oh, let me show you this new move that I know, that I saw.
Yes, but then I don't know.
Why say it like that then?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know.
The wording is what I'm paying attention to.
I mean, like, it started off as a play fight, and then they got serious and shit like that, and then they kind of sort of used the Force, and then somebody said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! What the fuck is going on, guys?"
Well, you better
Hayden,
be careful, Star Wars, because everybody in charge over there, you guys don't want to put yourself in the corner that Star Trek did. I know I keep bringing that up, but don't do what Discovery and Picard did. They retconned a lot. They did a lot of this stuff. They went, oh, we're going to bring in Spock and we're going to bring in Picard and Data. And everybody was happy and overjoyed. And then they saw the final result, and now they're not so happy. They're not so overjoyed. And the fan base was divided before. Now it's even more fractured than it ever has been before.
Yep.
And I don't think the fan base will ever come back.
Nope.
So be very careful.
Right.
yeah, no, it already sounds this way, and that's what I'm saying. When Hayden got rumored a while ago, I assumed flashbacks, and I'm like, oh, that'd be great. I'm so glad he's coming back. But to be back as Vader, and to the rematch of the century, I'm just, oh man, I don't know. This bums me out.
Bums you out? Oh my god! Oh,
Yeah.
Like titties in Lord of the Rings prequel.
Yeah, to that level, I would say for sure.
So
we have to wait and see, I guess, but yeah.
Right. I did forget to mention. So before they did the Lucasfilm announcement, Disney and Disney Plus were tweeting and retweeting each other, and then they said oh, there's going to be 10 new Marvel series. There's going to be 10 different Star Wars series, and I was like, 10 different Star Wars. That's a lot.
At the same time,
and it feels and it within the next few years, and it feels like, oh my god, it feels like they're going to just bombard us with all of this. But then when they released everything, it does make sense, because it's basically it's 10 different things, but it's different things in different times and different parts of the universe, that it does make sense. You can tell these different stories. So, and then again, going back to the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, that's a one and done series. So
Yeah.
that we know of, yes.
Is Andor going to be one and done too? Do you guys know?
That I'm not sure of yet.
But see, that's the other thing too. Like, remember when the sequels came out? Wasn't it Iger, Disney CEO, say like, "Oh yeah, we learned that we can't pump out the movies with Star Wars like we do with Marvel because it's probably not going to work the same way."
No, he lied.
But then they proceed to do this. It's like I'm foreseeing failure.
Those were the movies. These are a bunch of different series.
So no, I understand that. I'm
These
just saying
are all on both fronts on Marvel and Star Wars. It's all series.
Right.
No, there's movies mixed in here. There's movies.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I didn't know if there was movies or if it was all television.
Yeah, there's movies.
My point.
Yeah.
My point is that they're pushing so much instead of like I think the reason why The Mandalorian is a success is you have Dave and Favreau behind the wheel, but like they're focusing on one thing at a time. And like when they were trying to cram everything down when they got the sequels, and all that stuff going on, the only win that they had was Rogue One. And like even then there was a lot of issues behind the scenes. So I foresee chances of failure with like maybe the minority will hit and be the big win and everyone will like it, but then most of it the people will not like.
I could see where you're coming from, where you're saying, they had this one thing and it's just fantastic because it's this one thing. You don't want to see them get bogged down to where the storytelling starts getting affected and it's just garbage comes out, and then you're like, it's quantity over quality.
That's what happened to the Arrowverse, right? It started off with the
Star
Green
Trek.
I think Star Trek too.
Then with Flash, and then became fucking.
Yeah, but I think speaking to that also, like, they learned their lesson because they also didn't have a clear outline plan for the sequel trilogy, but then, and that's why you have a split between the fans of like, fans who loved it and fans who didn't like it. And of course, fans who like think that, there's so many missed opportunities and all. I don't know if you would say that they were a failure because they did well. I mean, Force Awakens did like, of course, as each, with Last Jedi and then Rise of Skywalker, you could see a decline, but then that also goes the same way with the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy. They also declined over time.
Unless it's at the level of Empire Strikes Back, I think most fans would say Star Wars movies are a failure. You know what I mean? That's like it's the original trilogy 1, 2, 3, right? Like it depends on whatever the sequence is, and then the prequels are finally now getting accepted just because of the fact that the sequels they're very, they're very. I don't know.
Polarizing.
Polarizing. Yeah, that's the best word for it.
And that's being nice.
So, like I told you guys earlier, or like the prior to the week, I just started watching the prequels again, with a lot more appreciation of things than than the shit than the shit that I hated before. Remember I told you guys I hated Jar Jar Binks? No, like I was laughing when he was saying, "Oh, Misa Tinky." I was like, "Oh yeah, fuck yeah, Jar Jar Binks."
So
again, give it a little bit of time. I'm sure once all the dumpster fire memes and all that shit is gone, people are gonna look at the sequels, and they're gonna be like, "Hey, you know what? It sucked, but hey, it's Star Wars." So
right. And then until of course they, they'll give it maybe another 10 years, if that, and then
it might take 30 years for The Last Jedi because a lot of people just can't let that go and they hate it. So it might be 30, 40 years,
Where is Jester and like
other way?
My person.
Other way.
Look. Like I said, I think that the part of the reason why the prequel's coming back, so to speak, it has to do with the Clone Wars series. And like, you know, I was saying when we were talking about the last episode review of The Mandalorian, like, you know, and they were those guys were complaining about the transport ships like looking similar to the ones from The Force Awakens and then the sequel trilogy, and it's like I hope
they had that in the Clone Wars.
yeah, but like my thing is like the Clone Wars fleshed out certain things that people had issues with in the prequels, and I hope and I'm really excited to see if they do the same thing with the sequels, because if they do, then it will refine my viewing of them through future content. So I hope that they do something like that, to where like, yeah, like, oh, I see things in the sequels I never saw before. Like, I'm completely open to that, but as of right now on their own, I'm not into it.
Yeah, and I can see that being a factor, but it is also true that a big portion of why there's a huge uptake in appreciation for the prequels is because there's a huge uptake in the hatred for the sequel trilogy.
Yep.
I know for a fact there's certain YouTubers, well, I'm not going to give them their props, but there's certain YouTubers who have admitted that they now appreciate the prequel trilogies far more because they hate the sequel trilogy so much.
Mm-hmm.
They hate Last Jedi. They hate
Right.
Force Awakens. They hate They hate them because they love the prequel trilogy, and because their hatred is so high for these three films. So I know where you're coming from, Jester, but yes, there is a huge group of people who love the prequels now because their hatred is so, it's dark side shit where their hatred is so deep, they'll take Jar Jar Binks over Porgs.
And you have to remember too that the generation that grew up with the prequels, myself included, loved them when they first came out. They thought it was amazing. So, you know, the same thing's going to happen to the sequel trilogy. You're going to have a generation that grew up with those, and that's what they're going to love. And like that's great, and I think that's cool. And like I assume that the same thing will happen in our lifetimes. You know, where like, oh yeah, there's a newfound love for the sequels, and I hope that day comes. You know, that's great. But
yeah, and then before you know it, they'll give it some time, and they're gonna announce episode 10, 11, 12.
Yeah,
they're gonna
written and directed by Dave Filoni and John Favreau.
Hopefully,
yeah,
who knows?
Or at least just one fucking director with the same, you know,
one story, just one story.
Yeah, you don't need one director. Just have one coherent story that you can all agree on.
Yeah,
like that's all you needed.
You got a million directors in The Mandalorian. They're doing it fine because the story is the story.
And if I'm not mistaken, I'm not the Star Wars buff around here, but weren't the original trilogies directed by different people?
Yeah, George Lucas.
Come on, it can be done. You just need to have that roadmap. You just have the roadmap set out, and then you can go driving. Don't go driving and go, oh, well, we're gonna go wing it, and then after that, fine, you can wing it, but don't go crying about, why are we lost? Because you fucking winged it. That's why you're lost.
Yeah.
You didn't use the map.
Right.
Use the map next time, and no one will be pissed off at you in the back seat going, hey, we're supposed to be going to Kentucky. How in the hell did we all the way end up in Toronto, Canada?
And that's why they were saying, someone commented earlier on one of the posts from the Star Wars social media account, and they said, wait till Rian Johnson does his trilogy, because it'll be a cohesive trilogy and he'll actually be able to tell his story.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that makes sense, because if he's going to be able to work on a trilogy, then without switching up directors in the middle of a dang trilogy, then yeah, it'll be more cohesive and it'll make sense. I did mention earlier in my YouTube live, when I went live earlier, and on Facebook and Instagram, I'm going to give it 5 years. So by 2025, we're probably going to get an announcement when Dave Filoni is finally going to direct his own Star Wars spinoff film.
I think that's appropriate amount of time, I think, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, he's doing his, and it should be around when the Ahsoka series ends. Then he'll be more than ready.
Yeah.
So other series that they announced, of course, the Bad Batch. So again, it's a mix of, you've got Disney Plus series, you've got some movies, you've got animation, and you've got live action. So it's
Did you guys see the anime thing?
Visions.
so that's
Yeah,
Star Wars
Visions.
Visions. Yeah, it's an anime
Mm.
series.
Dude, it looks cool.
Yeah,
I,
so what they showed.
I was just like, maybe Star Wars should be an anime because it looks fucking amazing as an anime.
Well, there has been a manga. They made a manga of the original trilogy, and it looks great. I know there was a fan that made original trilogy animation of just a space battle, X-wings and TIE fighters, and it looks fantastic. That was
Oh,
fantastic.
I saw that. That was actually really good.
It looked like
Yeah.
the whatchamacallit, the tech movies or the tech
Yeah, the Star Wars manga is fascinating. Like I sat at Barnes and Noble and looked at some of it, and I was drawn in for a good 10 minutes, and I'm like, I'm getting calls like, hey, we need to go, and I'm like, okay, I got to put this down. It's fascinating. It really is.
Right. And then of course, yeah, I just want to go back to the Bad Batch, the animated series. They showed a trailer. It looks fantastic. There's a character that stands out there. So Fennec Shan from The Mandalorian is in the Bad Batch trailer.
Okay.
He's there. So that was really cool.
You think Boba's gonna lead them or what?
No, but he might be in it. Who knows, man?
Who knows?
Like,
Yeah,
that trailer showed a lot for what
I have to
how good it
actually.
was.
Is it gonna be animated or is it gonna be like live action?
Animated. It's like
Clone
Clone Wars. It's like
Clone
Clone
Wars.
Wars.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got you.
and at the end of the trailer, it's the Clone Wars logo, and then it burns off and melts away, and it's like Star Wars: The Bad Batch. That was really cool. So, and then they also announced the Lando Disney Plus series. That one has been long rumored and talked about, even like I think after the Solo spin-off film. And now we're finally getting confirmation that they're working on a Lando series.
Is that animated or live action?
That's live action. That's going to be starring.
So Donald Glover is going to reprise his role?
I'm pretty sure. I don't think they're going to
better.
Because if not, I don't give a shit. But if he does, then I might give it a chance. But if he's not coming back, I don't care.
Right. And that's why they're saying like that's the only way it'll work. Because
no one, because everybody's going to be in the same boat I am. If he doesn't come back, no one will give a shit.
Right. So
I'm sorry. He stole the show in Solo for me.
For me too.
My boy Childish Gambino, like, man, he's so good as Lando.
I like to call him Childish Landino.
Nice.
So there is also another series that they announced. It's called Star Wars: A Droid Story, and it'll be featuring R2. This is probably for the kids, for a younger audience. It'll be featuring R2D2 and C3PO with a brand new character, so and possibly a brand new droid. I'm surprised.
Hey, but R2D2 is pretty X-rated, bro.
Yeah,
all the bleeps and shit, right?
Bleeps and bloops.
In your Family Guy, sure.
You motherfucker.
But then, it's kind of nice that they're putting back focus on R2 and 3PO, because one of the downsides of the sequel trilogy is 3PO and R2 especially not getting enough or even a decent amount of screen time. Because when you look at the original trilogy and the prequels. Trilogy, R2D2 has been a hero from day one, and unfortunately in the sequel trilogy he's been reduced to like standby. So
well, I'm not gonna lie, I like BB-8.
I like BB-8 too, but there's no way that they could have integrated R2 with BB-8.
Oh yeah.
So
you're right. Yeah, that's very true.
Because R2 is salty and then BB-8 is sassy. So there's a difference between their their personalities.
Yeah,
there you go. So another series that they announced is called Star Wars: The Acolyte. So that one, it says here, it's a mystery thriller that will take viewers into a galaxy of shadowy secrets and emerging dark side powers in the final days of the High Republic era.
Hell yeah!
And then this is from
High Republic is before the This is before everything that happened in the original trilogy, right? High
Mhm.
Republic.
Yeah. So it said here. So this is from a Facebook page called Boba Fett Core, and the poster said, "I'm calling it right now. This will be our first Star Wars live-action show with a Sith or dark side protagonist."
I was
So
gonna say we're gonna get some
Hmm.
Sith action if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken, and
That
Yeah,
sounds cool.
the
Yeah.
one I'll be enjoying because that's what I like. I like the dark side stories and the shit about the Sith. That's why I liked the Knights of the Old Republic 2 so much,
Mhm.
yeah, and this
because you got a good, just nice meaty chunk of that, and that's what I want more of.
right, and that's why you're getting a good balance, because now you're getting your Bad Batch animated series, you're getting Lando, you're getting a Droid Story, you're getting Rangers of the New Republic, and then the Acolyte. You're getting Cassian Andor, Obi-Wan Kenobi. So you're getting Jedi, you're getting everything. You have the Mandalorian right now, of course, going on. Another thing that was announced. So out of all of these, Kathy Kennedy showed there was an image of Kuya's favorite director, Taika Waititi, with a Star Wars logo. I took a screenshot of it with a Star Wars logo that kind of looked like it was illustrated and made out of like old rocks. And I was
Yeah, it
like,
looked like the Life of Brian title.
yeah. So I was like, what's
Is it a Korg show?
no?
What, the Life of Brian?
Well, he's not.
No,
in
no,
Star
no.
Wars, so
Oh.
no. And she didn't mention a whole lot about it. She just said that he's working on it right now. And then
Could be though.
she went on to mention the Rogue Squadron movie that will be directed by Patty Jenkins.
Hell yeah, my woman. That I love this. This is where I step in and go, yeah, this is something for me, because Patty Jenkins is doing another project. Anything she's on board with, I'm down for. I don't give a shit if Wonder Woman 84 sucks, which it won't, because she's at the helm of it. But even if it did, I'll still like it, because you know what?
It's
I'm
Patty
a
Jenkins.
fanboy of Patty Jenkins. She's awesome.
Yeah.
She's
Did you guys see
shit.
the preview?
She's a talented, she's got that same type of methodical Christopher Nolan. I know the way I want to direct a film. I know the way I want the pace. I know the way I want it to go, and this is how it's going to go. And I'm really glad that she's blowing up and becoming something of a household name. Going down these paths, she will be. So I'm really enjoying this. I can't wait for this part of Star Wars, like her, and it's Rogue Squadron. Oh,
You think it's Wedge?
Did you guys see the teaser?
Yeah, I saw that. It was
I
cool.
didn't see any of it. I
I'm
missed
looking
it.
at it right now.
That was awesome. It gave me chills. So just to describe
Stupid
it,
ass VGA awards.
so yeah, just to describe it to those listening, it's basically like this camera sweeping across, like you can hear like jets flying over, and then you see Patty Jenkins. She's skating. She's skating towards rollerblading towards her car, and then she starting to tell a story, and she's saying that her father, when she was growing up, her father was a fighter jet pilot in the military, and she loved seeing her father, and she had great memories of her seeing her father in the jets flying off and doing all these amazing things, and he unfortunately passed serving our country. And as she's changing, she's taking off her rollerblades. She's saying, like, as when she became a director, she always wanted to find the right story to tell about these great fighters, and and that get into these jets and do these amazing things. And then she starts putting on, and she pretty much explains like, well, it's finally time that I found the right story. And she puts an X-wing pilot helmet on.
That's awesome.
And then
And
and she walks up, she gets up, she has the orange flight suit. She's walking towards an X-wing that's parked on the tarmac. And she's like she says something like, join me on the next adventure. And the music is pitch. I was watching it and I was like, I actually started like tearing up. I was like, holy shit, this is good. Like,
that's
that got me.
awesome. See, that makes me even more excited for this.
Yeah.
That's going back to its roots, man. That's going back to dogfights, man. Like that's one of the big hits from A New Hope is the dogfights in that. in that movie.
And that's why Squadrons is so fucking
Yeah,
awesome.
exactly.
That's why it's so much fun, because you get to do that. You get to live that. You get to play it and go, oh, we're doing this. Like, and that's awesome. Like, I love this. I love this. I couldn't be happier.
Yeah,
This is
that's gonna be a
something
good
for
one.
me.
Yeah,
it's
it's gonna be
fun.
really awesome. And I know there's a lot of fans, especially from the expanded universe. They did a series of books, Rogue Squadron, and even I think comics that just focused on Wedge and then all these other pilots. So
I hope it's about Wedge. That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
it'd be cool if it
that
was
would be
Wedge.
awesome.
Yeah.
Or Porkins.
I mean, give me those guys and give me some new characters.
Hey, I want some Porkins. We need the fat guy in the fucking X-wing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I just want some more dog fights like we saw in Rogue One. Oh man, some of the best X-wing stuff that we've seen is in Rogue One.
I think we're gonna get. I mean, and just the fact that when Patty Jenkins explained that her father was a jet fighter pilot for the military.
Yeah,
I was
that's
like,
what makes
yep,
it so
there you go.
kick-ass.
That's why they hired her.
It's kind of personal for her. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That's what makes it so kick-ass.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Like,
awesome.
and that's why I love her. Like, she takes a piece of herself and she gives it to us, and she makes great storytelling out of it. There's pieces of her in Wonder Woman. There's pieces of her in Monster. Like, she always commits her whole body and soul to the craft that she's doing, and she has immense respect for storytelling and filmmaking, and that's why I have immense respect for her, and I can't wait for this project. I can't.
Right. Yeah, and in that teaser, she says like she was trying to find the right project and the right story to tell, and then like, of course, here you go. There's the right project. Like, wow. It's not set on Earth, but hey, I mean, what's the next best thing, right? Or the best thing than telling a story about Rogue Squadron. So that's it for the Star Wars stuff. I'm just gonna gloss over real quick about the other Lucasfilm stuff that they announced. So the next big thing, of course, is Indiana Jones. That one is still in the works. It is the last Indiana Jones story with
The really
Harrison
last one?
Ford. That's what they said. That's what Kathy Kennedy said. The last Indiana Jones adventure with Harrison Ford. It's no longer Steven Spielberg directing. They did announce that earlier. But it is what's his name? Who directed Ford v Ferrari? Mangold, James Mangold.
He's a great director, but
not for Indiana Jones.
Not for Indiana Jones.
Not only that, it's not Spielberg. I don't care. I hate to be a snob about it, but if it's not Spielberg, I don't care.
That's the thing. It's not.
Agreed.
So it's interesting.
I know. That's why I don't care.
It's interesting that Spielberg backed out, or whatever happened. Like,
it really is.
If it's
you think
I'd like to know that story.
Because I heard Spielberg was butthurt when people panned Crystal Skull.
I'm sure they were. I mean, when it's about geezers and knowledge, I mean, what do you expect?
Well,
so
I didn't mind Crystal Skull. I enjoyed it.
It was like I thought it was fine.
Like, I don't think it's complete rock gut garbage.
Same.
There's some redeemable quality in that movie.
Totally.
I mean, the issue I had was
the opening sequence. Like,
oh yeah. Yes.
The issue I had was what's his name?
Shia?
Yeah.
I love Shia. I thought he was.
I was gonna say I thought he did great in that. To be honest.
No, but like
him.
To introduce him as the son like quickly, I'm just like, come on, just. I don't know.
I agree with you on that point. That was stupid, but him as a whole and the character, he wasn't bad. He was actually really good.
And who could go wrong?
It was in that special sweet spot right before he went off the deep end.
Yeah. And if you're wondering what happened to Shia, like those troublesome times, watch Honey Boy, and you will understand why he went through a rough patch.
Yeah.
And, that's a great story in itself. So, but that's Indiana Jones. That's still, they're still working on it. That's going to be coming in the next few years. And of course, they also mentioned Willow. So that's being directed by John Chu. who directed Crazy Rich Asians, and yeah, they're essentially like telling the continuation of the story.
Continuation, right? It's not a reboot.
No, it's not a reboot.
Okay, good.
And then the other thing that they mentioned, this one they already announced like a few years ago that they acquired the rights to make the film, or I don't know if it's a film or a series. I think it's a film, but it's a book. It's based on a book. It's called Children of Blood and Bone, and it's a best-selling book. And I can't remember the exact story. I'm gonna Google it real quick, but it sounds really fascinating. And I know the book just came out like within the last 3 years. Like not, it's very recent. So Children of Blood and Bone. So it came out 2018. It's a young adult fantasy novel by Nigerian American novelist Tommy Adeyemi. So the plot. Let's see. So
What you got there, Kuya?
German chocolate.
Oh yeah.
so it says here,
Taste
the
it
book,
from here.
the book Adeyemi's debut novel and the first book in a planned trilogy follows heroine Zeli Adebola as she attempts to restore magic to the kingdom of Orisha, following the ruling class Cosidans. Brutal suppression of the class of magic practitioners. Zeli belongs to the Magi. So it's got a lot to do with magic and stuff like that. It's like fantasy.
Okay.
So really sounds fascinating. But yeah, it's just the book just came out like 2018, and before you know it, Lucasfilm like acquired the rights, and now they're developing it.
They might think it's their version of Harry Potter, huh? You think?
Possibly, who knows? We'll see. But the book did really well, so that tells you that there's an audience for it. So yeah, that's pretty much it as far as the Star Wars and the Lucasfilm stuff. Nothing solid from Rian Johnson's trilogy just yet.
Thank God.
But other than that, they did
Watch it.
mention-
Watch it be like the closest thing to Empire Strikes Back. And
If it is, that's great. I just don't like his writing. Like I honestly don't like his other films. Like they're okay. I struggle with his writing.
Yeah.
I'm probably in the same boat with you because I haven't seen anything of his that has impressed me
Yeah.
other than Looper. Looper's the only good film he's ever
See,
done.
like Looper got me all the way until the last 5 minutes, and then he just threw everything away. To me,
I'm thank you, Mike, for letting me borrow that. I thought it was a fantastic
Oh yeah.
modern age sci-fi film. Other than that, he's a one-hit wonder to me. He is a one-hit wonder to me. He really is.
I feel you, dog.
Last
I
Jedi
feel you.
bored me. It bored me to tears. I don't care as a Star Wars perspective, as a movie, it bored me to tears. And Knives Out was an overrated clue hack. So he's a one-hit wonder. Prove me wrong, Ryan.
You guys haven't seen Brick yet?
I never saw Brick.
You haven't seen Brick?
I don't need to.
Go watch Brick.
Well, I think you should check that out.
Okay.
I'm not wasting my time.
It's Brick, right? Is it what is it on a streaming service that I can watch?
Might be on Hulu. If I'm not sure, it
Okay.
could be on Amazon.
Okay, I'll check it out. Brick. Okay. All right.
Yep. So that's it as far as Star Wars and Lucasfilm. We've got a bunch of content coming within the next few years or so, of different varying genres. So it's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
And I like to say this. There really is no better time to be a Star Wars fan because, my God. And again, if you were to tell-
you guys. Star Trek fans have to be jealous of Star Wars fans right now because you guys are having an embarrassment of riches right now.
Oh yeah. And again, if you were to tell me in 2005, after I watched Revenge of the Sith for the first time, that, if future me could go back then to younger me years ago, and then I told myself, don't worry, it's not over. You're going to get so much more Star Wars. And I would have been like, I don't believe you. And
Yeah, you fat liar.
you know, here we are. So, and again, who's to say that Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker will not show up in that Ahsoka series as a Jedi ghost? Because remember,
Man.
George Lucas retconned and changed Hayden Christensen in the end of Return of the Jedi, and a lot of hardcore fans, including Kuya, threw something at the TV when he saw that. But hey,
No.
George Lucas changed it, and now
The
it's
movie,
fading
the
gray.
movie screen, Mike. The movie
The
screen.
movie screen.
Yeah,
Really?
I threw my bag of popcorn at the
Did
movie
you
screen.
really?
Did
Wow.
you really?
And you
Wow.
give me crap for The Last Jedi. I didn't even do that when I saw that in the theaters.
When instead of the old man as Darth Vader,
Sebastian Shaw.
yeah, you see fucking Hayden Christensen instead. Really?
Well,
You're not upset at that?
if you
No.
look
Did you
at
get
it,
escorted out of the building?
No, everybody clapped like when I fucking threw it,
Oh
dude.
wow, dude, you're such a
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I was just like,
so wait, when did you watch Return of the Jedi on the big screen?
Yeah,
Oh,
like you were there in the 80s?
yeah. He's an old bastard. You can't see.
Yeah, I'm
No,
44,
Look
dude.
like you're 80.
No, with
I'm
with,
44.
No, but
with Anakin, like with Hayden
They
Christensen. Anakin,
they reshowed it, didn't they?
yeah,
They showed it in the big screen again because they're trying to celebrate the prequels, or they're doing the prequel thing. So it's let's show the
so
old.
you camped out overnight to see the replay.
No, I walked in and watched and saw the movie.
It's all right, man.
Why
You
would I
camped
camp out?
out.
No.
You went in there. You had a great time, and then when that scene happened, you went.
Mike and I never camp out. Like
I
we
did.
don't.
What are you talking about?
I
did.
know. I was about
did
ready to
for-
say, don't ever say that, because I
Nah.
know Mike at least one time in his lifetime has camped out.
For Revenge of the Sith. We camped out
Thank you.
outside of the theater in Sparks. This was when prepaid tickets were just essentially new.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
we camped out. We played Star Wars Trivial Pursuit. We had a tent. It was so windy. we played. Star Wars
Weren't you on
Trivial-
TV too, Mike?
That
you
was
were on
for
TV?
that was for
Right.
Attack of the Clones.
Okay, you
No
were on
one
TV for
wanted
that
to
one.
be on camera because a lot of people ditched work. I did not miss a day of school in my sophomore year at Reed
Except for
at high school. I saved all my absences and I asked my parents, "Hey, can I ditch school today? Can I ditch school when Star Wars comes out? So I haven't been absent the whole year." And they're like, "Yeah, sure." I'm like, 9:30 a.m. screening, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
watched it twice in
best-
24 hours.
Best parents ever, man.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. That's just
Corey,
good. That's
I
just
love
good
you, but
memories,
you know
Mike.
damn well you
Oh, yeah.
lying. You camped out too.
Pinhead, I've never camped out for any fucking
I
movie,
don't
man.
buy it. I don't
Nope.
buy it.
I'm sorry. Maybe concert tickets I've camped out up for, but
Like
not
for
but
Bon
not,
Jovi or something like that.
no, not for Bon Jovi.
Alrighty, so I guess this is a good time to end this segment.
And
We're
then
gonna-
with that, I'm out.
We're gonna take a break as Jester exits, and then we're gonna resume with
Oh,
more
what a
stuff.
puss!
Good night, baby boy.
Shut up. You can pound sand. I'm going to bed.
Love
Oh
you,
yeah,
baby
thanks for
boy.
joining us.
Yeah, no,
Jester.
giving me shit for being old and I'm still up.
Oh, yeah, but okay. Like, aren't you? You've been watching
we-
movies all.
Alrighty, so we're continuing on. Jester had to go get his
Beauty sleep.
beauty
Fucking
sleep.
princess, man.
Yeah. So, but hey, at least I was impressed, and I'm happy that he joined us.
Exactly.
because I called him out as
here from Star Wars.
because I called him out as a Star Wars fan. It's like, this is an emergency meeting about Star Wars or emergency podcast, and you don't want to show up. He
Right.
had to show up because I was like, oh, you're a puss, man.
Because you called this punk car.
Oh yeah, but it's okay. Good night, sweet dreams.
Yeah.
We'll see you on Saturday.
Alrighty. So moving on to Marvel Studios.
Yay.
A big slate
Yeah.
of announcements. So this one I didn't get to watch, but Kevin Feige, of course, led it. So kicking things off, of course, we are getting WandaVision on January 15.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the next that's the first Marvel MCU series we're going to get on Disney Plus finally. And then after that, we are getting the Falcon and the Winter Soldier They officially announced it for streaming starts March 19th. So I'm assuming when WandaVision ends, we start with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, unless WandaVision is still ongoing, and then they drop the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is it's crossing over. That's totally fine. But I think they want the attention for one show each. I think would make much more sense.
Like what Mando does.
Right, right. So of course they released an exclusive first look. I haven't seen much of it yet. I'm gonna have to check it out after we record. And then they released the first look of Loki, which is coming to Disney Plus on May 2021. So yeah, so March we're getting Falcon and Winter Soldier. May we're getting Loki, and the Loki sneak preview that they showed is pretty cool. We get to see Owen Wilson in the show, and he's talking to Loki. There's some kind of I can't remember what society or group it is. It's like an undercover. It's kind of like an FBI of the Marvel universe that they're undercover.
And Shield?
Not like Shield. It's like it's for like the whole universe. It seems like, and
like New York undercover,
something like that. And Owen Wilson is in an elevator. It seems like, and he's talking to Loki. And then they're bringing him in for questioning, basically. And then they, in the preview, they show a bunch of stuff, but they basically replay everything that he's done in the MCU, everything that Loki has done in the MCU, and that he hasn't been, in his best behavior or whatever. They're basically recruiting him to join this agency of sorts and do good and basically do better. And there's even a shot there of what looks like Natasha Romanoff of Black Widow sitting in like what looks like what's between heaven and hell? What's the what
Limbo.
Purgatory?
Purgatory. It seems like some kind of purgatory in the Marvel universe, and Black Widow's sitting there. Because she's got the red hair, and it's like a faraway shot, but when you see it, it's like that's Black Widow. I'm like, oh boy. So what are they hinting at?
Yeah, because nobody dies in Disney movies. So
if they do it in a way where it makes sense and it's well done, why not?
But it's a cop out.
Yeah, but then again, we'll see. We don't know if she's gonna come back to life.
Yeah, like we need to know. Before any of us go anywhere, we need to know what timeline it is, because
right,
we don't know. But it all goes back to the too little, too late stuff. Like
okay, so is he having a show because like his character is super popular with people? Is that what it is, or is it because it's Tom?
Well, that's the only reason why you do a show.
I think
or
so.
Tom Hiddleston.
The character has always been so popular. So
yeah, but he's the bad guy. He's fucking evil.
Well, not anymore.
Yeah, because
at best he's an anti-hero. He's definitely not evil anymore.
Because Ragnarok, kind of retcon his ass. So
yeah, and even in the first Avengers movie, it wasn't like his plan to take over. With the Chitauri, he was basically being, Thanos' bitch to like start an invasion. And then when Thor talks to him and tells him like, you got to stop this. He's like, it's too late. I can't stop it. So there's something there where he's not purely evil.
Yeah, because if he was, he wouldn't have made the sacrifice he made in Infinity War on that ship. Like if he was pure evil, he would have been like, fuck these motherfuckers, just wipe them out. Instead, he sacrificed himself to get some kind of diversion to do what they did, to have the inciting incident. So we know he's not pure evil. He's an anti-hero at best.
Yeah. In the preview, there's so much stuff happening.
At least the way they're pushing him.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, how can you not develop a series, focus on this character? Because again, like,
he's beloved.
He's beloved. Yeah, the character and the actor. I mean, he went.
Exactly.
He showed up at Comic-Con dressed as Loki. Doing a speech.
I mean, I'm sorry, but the only reason why you're in talk for a James Bond at all is because of the beloved nature of the Loki and it blowing up. No one would have cared for you to be Bond if it hadn't been for that. So, yeah, he's beloved. The actor and the character is beloved. So we'll see what happens. It's just, I want to know what timeline it is.
Right. Yeah.
Because if it's pre-Infinity War, fine.
Yeah.
But if it's post, we have
So
a couple issues here.
if you remember in
He disappeared in Endgame.
Endgame, yeah, he disappeared right at the timeline of the
He
first
used
Avengers
the-
movie because he grabbed
He
the
used the
Tesseract.
space one. Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's
where,
true.
that's where they kick off. That's where they start off this series. So it's in that timeline, and so
Man, it better not be like fucking Doctor Who, like him going back into time and all that shit, man. I would be so mad.
well,
I'll be pissed off as a Doctor Who fan because, or yeah, don't do the, please don't do the cop out of the time travel. Like, don't come up with something that's familiar yet original.
Yeah.
You guys can do it. You guys are big thinkers over there, especially with Kevin running things. You can do it. If you don't, then what was the point of this?
well, the Tesseract. What's the power of the Tesseract again?
It's the space.
Space.
I have no idea.
So it's not the time.
So yeah, he can move to whatever. So
Oh, he
So
can
it's
still
gonna
move
be
through.
time.
Yeah.
no,
So
he
with
can move
that-
from places to. He can teleport. That's with the
okay.
space.
but not through time because it's not the time stone. He can't.
So he's Nightcrawler then.
Wait, no. The Tesseract is that the Mind Stone? No, it is the
You know what? It might be.
It should be the power one, right?
Hold on.
Because the Mind Stone is the one that's on his scepter, right? Technically,
Hold on. Yeah.
the Tesseract I think is the power one, if I'm not
Tesseract.
mistaken.
Thanos later acquired the Tesseract and crushed it into unveil the space stone within.
Space. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Never mind. So like he can
So he
teleport
can
then.
control time and essentially because he controlled space. He can control time and space.
Well, that the Eye of Agamotto is the time one. The one that
I
reverses
know
time.
that. I got that. I know that. So see,
I
we're
don't
in
know.
a slippery slope here. That's the problem I'm having. We're in a very slippery slope, and I know, like I said, let's just wait and see, because I don't want to jump the gun like a nut
Right.
job. But at the same time, we also have to have cautious optimism.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's just wait and see what we got here, and
I
then
told-
we can develop a judgment, because we're talking about things that have yet to come.
I know, and Pinhead, I told Mike before, unless a TARDIS, the Speed Force, or a fucking DeLorean is involved, time travel is lazy writing for me. So
I get it. I get it.
you know
And
that,
I'm
that's
glad,
that,
I'm
that's how I
glad
see
you
it.
included the TARDIS in there. Thank you, because
Come on, like I'm not a fan of.
you can't leave the Doctor Who lineage out.
I'm not a fan of. I'm not a Whovian, just like a lot of people.
I know, I understand that,
But
at least you have
I
respect.
enjoyed every time I watch the shows. I'm a fan, so like
Yeah.
I like watching it. It's interesting to me.
So I would also say check out the sneak previews that they have. So when we do the show again on Saturday, we can do a quick recap on what you guys think.
Yeah, because I'm interested to see those. So
Yeah. So and then the next one they announced, they have the What If animated series.
this is the one I'm excited for.
Yeah.
Because I used to love these comics when I was a kid. I used to love them.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. The teaser that they showed, a little bit of it is basically like, so yeah, it explains like space, time, reality. It's more than a linear path. And then I do remember reading the What If comics. I always thought they were fun. This is coming summer of 2021. Just a sneak peek, a little bit about the sneak peek. They basically show like Star-Lord in the darkness, and then you see the Star-Lord's mask. and then he walks forward. It opens up, and it's T'Challa as Star-Lord. I was like, oh, that looks cool. And then they show the ship, instead of finding Peter Quill, it's in Wakanda, and it
Yep.
gets
Yeah.
T'Challa. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. So that's all I saw. I'm gonna have to check it out. But that I'm already interested in that because they also did show what's her name? Peggy, Captain America's love interest.
Mhm.
Peggy
This
Carter.
Agent Carter.
Yeah, Agent Carter. So instead of Captain
Carrie
America,
Atwell.
we get a Captain. I'm not sure if it's Captain what they call her, but she basically becomes a test subject instead of Steve Rogers. It's Peggy Carter that becomes a test subject.
Yeah, she should still be Captain America.
The,
Yeah.
Well, but in the preview, she's not. She has a
Oh,
shield, but it's the shield of Britain or like the UK or like
Oh,
yeah,
Lady Liberty. I don't know.
something like
I
that.
don't know.
Yeah. So like when the capsule opens, instead of Steve Rogers, you see Peggy Carter, and she's like muscled out, and like she basically is the Captain
The
America,
Red Sun effect.
Yeah. pretty much. And then of course they announced the cast of Shang-Chi, and that's coming in July. Production that has wrapped on for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. They will be released on July 9, 2021, and it's got a cast including Simu Liu, Tony Leung, Aquafina, Meng
Hell yeah.
Zhang. We've got Michelle Yeoh,
Yep.
Ronnie Ching,
Hell
Paula
yeah.
Chen, and Florian Montanu. So it looks really interesting and fascinating. So I can't wait till we get to see a trailer for that. And then, of course, Miss Marvel. We're getting an original series for Miss Marvel coming late 2021. That's currently filming right now.
There's some backlash on that already.
Did we get any?
Yes, I think I
don't-
heard some backlash on that. What was the backlash? If I'm not mistaken.
The best friend. They retconned the best friend as somebody, and she's like a MAGA person.
Oh, interesting.
And
But then I guess is that because they're trying to bring it into current times?
no. Like again, like the late, the star is still like gonna be a Muslim American, but like they're gonna dumb it down. It's
Oh,
not gonna be like because like in the comic books, Miss Marvel was Muslim, and like
right,
she can't go on certain times because it's it's forbidden.
Yeah.
right,
So,
right. Huh.
Yeah,
Interesting.
like but like it's just like all the backlash that I've been hearing. I'm like, God, this might not even be as good as what they want it to be. And it could be good if they just let it be, but I'm not sure, man.
Right.
Could be great, or it could be Avengers the game and be complete garbage and die in a couple of days.
Oh man.
She was such a fangirl in that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was.
So
I was
moving
like,
on, we've got Captain Marvel 2. So Captain Marvel 2 flies into theaters November 11, 2022. So it says here, Brie Larson returns as Carol Danvers in Marvel Studios' Captain Marvel 2, directed by Nia DaCosta. Joining the cast are recently announced Miss Marvel, Iman Vellani, and Monica Rambeau, played by WandaVision's Teyonah Parris.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Miss Marvel from the Disney Plus series will be in Captain Marvel 2. And then of course we've got Hawkeye, which is currently filming. We've gotten shots and video footage of Jeremy Renner and Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop, and there's even shots of her in her costume, her outfit, which is pretty cool.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So
wait, is Hawkeye gonna be Nomad or is it gonna be Hawkeye?
They did not mention it here, but it just says that original Avenger Jeremy Renner returns to star as Hawkeye, teaming up with well-known archer from Marvel Comics, Kate Bishop, played by the amazing Haley Steinfeld. Additional cast include Vera Farmiga, Fra Fee, and newcomer Alakwa Cox as Maya Lopez, with episodes directed by Rhys Thomas and directing duo Bert and Birdie. So Hawkeye, an original series, is coming to Disney Plus. No release date or month or what timeline yet, or as far as when they're releasing it. Then next up, next up is She-Hulk, So
Okay.
again, now they're confirming it. She-Hulk arrives to the MCU. Tatiana Maslany will portray
Okay.
Jennifer Walters.
So she is confirmed, and she is.
Yeah,
That's
because
very interesting to me because when I see her in Orphan Black, I don't.
Oh,
It doesn't scream She-Hulk. It doesn't. I don't know. Like, it's interesting to me because she's an amazing actress. She's an amazing actress. She's a beautiful woman.
you think it's gonna be all CGI?
God, I hope not, because then it's a waste of her talent. Like, oh well, it's her voice. That's fine, but
right.
I want her to. I want her to be able to, like. At the same time, you have to, because what are you gonna? You're gonna have the Incredible Hulk all over again. So it's a double-edged sword. I don't know. I don't know. I
Yeah.
just know it is a step in the right direction with her, because as much as I don't see her as She-Hulk,
She's a good
she's a
actress.
very, very talented woman. Like, she's a phenomenal actress. It's the same thing that I had with Rami Malek being Freddie Mercury at first.
Mhm.
I was like, but then I went, he's phenomenal, Mr. Robot, and he proved me right.
Mhm.
I came toward him, and he was good. So we'll see what happens. Like, we'll just have to see. This is another we'll wait and see. But I don't see her as She-Hulk. I just don't. But she's a phenomenal actress. I can't take that away from her.
It's a movie, right? Not a TV series, or
It's
is
a
it a TV
series.
series?
Series, Disney
Series?
Plus. Yeah.
I
So
was gonna say, I thought it was a series.
yeah, so Tim Roth will return as the Abomination, and Hulk himself, Mark Ruffalo,
Oh,
will
okay.
appear in the series.
It's gonna be fun.
Yep.
I didn't know Tim Roth was coming back. Sorry for that long-winded. I didn't know he was coming back. Now that's kind of a different story. Because I love me some Tim Roth, and he was awesome as the Abomination.
Yep.
So
And then next up, we've got Moon Knight, an original series about a complex vigilante. Is coming to Disney Plus. That's it. They didn't announce Oscar Isaac.
Is
Hold
he
on.
rich? Is
Oscar
he rich?
Isaac, while we're on the subject, let some of us other poor folk have some of these roles out here, okay? Slow down. You're Snake. You're
Well,
gonna be.
he did say in an interview like he wanted to play Solid Snake. So
I know.
like,
I'm happy for him, but the movie's gonna suck. Let's just get that out of the way. It'll suck. So
All right. Next up,
People don't even know who Solid Snake was.
I know, and that's why I said it's gonna suck. So good for you with Moon Knight, because you're gonna need it after Metal Gear bombs.
So next up, we've got Secret Invasion.
Ugh.
Samuel L. Jackson is back as Nick Fury, and Ben Mendelsohn from Captain Marvel returns as the Skrull
Okay.
Talos in Marvel Studios' original series Secret Invasion, coming to Disney Plus. So I'm surprised that they're just gonna do a series and it's not gonna be like in the movies, like
Yeah.
something big, you know. But hey, we will see. I mean, they could.
I don't
start
know
off with a
anything
series
about
and
the
later
comics,
blow it
like-
up to the movies.
I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna try to see if they can combine the TV universe with the cinematic one, because they said one Division has something to do with Doctor Strange, right?
Yes, and the multiverse of madness. It's gonna connect.
Yep. So
Did they mention anything about that?
huh?
No, I don't think they did.
Oh, come on!
Hold on.
About
I'm
what?
looking- No, there's nothing on that.
Are
Nothing
you?
on that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we know Sam Raimi is on board. Like,
Yes.
that's a for sure,
As
right?
far as we know, yes, that was what was
What
happening.
Why wouldn't you announce even a little kibble? See,
Well, hold on.
See,
Let me double check.
they knew a horror guy was on they like, yeah, Pinhead wanted to hear about it, and
Wait, what are you talking about? Sam Raimi doing what?
the Doctor Strange sequel.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so
He's directing it.
I did forget to mention all all the recent update on that is that Rachel McAdams is returning for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Okay, so oh hum.
There's something, yeah, but yeah, as far as the
Well, I
as
was
far
just
as the-
hoping they would have some kind of update of like, okay,
Who's he
release
fighting?
date,
yeah, nothing.
who,
Nothing.
what production date, like, okay.
Yeah, nothing. The next up we've got is Ironheart. So it's coming to Disney Plus. Dominique Thorne
The,
is genius
Yep.
inventor Riri Williams in Ironheart, an
Yep, I
original
knew it.
series about the creator
I
of the
fucking knew
most advanced suit of armor since Iron Man.
I knew it. I knew it was gonna be Ironheart.
So has this been in the works for a while?
It was in the comic books.
No, I know about Riri Williams. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this series that he's talking about specifically. Do we know if it's been in the works for a while?
No, I'm not sure.
No.
I'm
The
not
only
sure.
reason why I ask is because we just glossed over Doctor Strange, which has been, he's kind of an integral part of Marvel. I would hope so, especially after the time you spend on him in Infinity War and Endgame. And we're pushing forward a Riri Williams, Ironheart, Iron Man.
I'm assuming they've had it in the works for some time. I mean,
That's like, if they've had it in the works, then I can't say anything and I'll shut the fuck up. But if
Okay.
if this is just like 6 months ago, then that's a problem.
So listen to the next one. So, Armor Wars. Don Cheadle returns as James Rhodes, aka War Machine, in Armor Wars, an original series coming to Disney Plus. A classic Marvel story about Tony Stark's worst fear coming true. What happens when his tech falls into the wrong hands? At least Don Cheadle got his own series. Can you imagine if Terrence
I was
Howard?
about ready to say he's earned that. Like I understand that. Like as lame as that is, Don Cheadle's earned it. He's paid his dues.
Right.
It's not like here you go, Riri Williams. We're gonna.
No, but
Can
the
you
issue
imagine-
is
Oh, go ahead.
the issue is Doctor Strange is going to be a much bigger thing than Don Cheadle in Armor Wars.
Well, yeah, but
I
then
get-
there's nothing. What do you want me to tell you?
That's what I'm saying. Like I get that, and I'm not talking about you, Mike.
Oh yeah. I know.
I get that.
I know.
That's
I know.
what I'm saying.
This is for investors, right? This is for investors.
I
It's not-
really hope it has to
Yeah.
be, because it's not for fans.
It's not
You
like a
can't-
Comic Con thing. Like we're gonna be doing this.
You can't release this slate and go, we're definitely gonna push this forward. I get
Right.
it. We had a pandemic. I get it. That's gonna be we had a pandemic. And I get it. You release this slate and talk about this shit that you're pushing forward, and then you go, oh well, we had a pandemic. Oh we're gonna change up things and we're gonna completely. You have to maintain something. Please. Please.
But can you imagine if Terrence Howard never lost a role, or never like
I know.
and he would still be.
Maybe
he'd
Don
still
Cheadle
be-
would have been on Empire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Maybe it wouldn't have lasted as long as it did.
Maybe Don
Right.
Cheadle
Or
would.
maybe it would still be going on today. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe,
Hey, that's a what if episode of its own. What if?
That's right.
What if what if Terrence Howard never got strong armed
Dude.
out by Robert Downey Jr.?
Don Cheadle would have been Black Panther. Then
Because if you ask Terrence Howard, he got strong armed out by Iron Man himself. So
Yep.
because he wanted the same pay as Robert Downey Jr. And like,
and
Yeah.
he wasn't getting
they're like,
raises.
no, man,
Too fast.
Robert
bro.
was smart. Robert was a smart man. It was like, bitch, please.
Yeah.
you're a
Iron Man
co-star.
Right.
You're
the
a
best
co-star.
You're
You're the
lucky to
best
be known as Robin.
Yeah.
You're a co-star.
If you were
Alright.
Robin, then you'd get that money.
So next up is the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. So James Gunn is back to write and direct. The original special is coming to Disney Plus in 2022.
Oh,
I can imagine it's inspired from the Star Wars Holiday Special.
I'm sure.
the end credits of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, you've got David Hasselhoff singing that Simon Hassafrau, whatever, like that song. So I can imagine a little bit more of that with a holiday variety.
Hasselhoff's getting around, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's doing those Pluto TV commercials too.
That's right. That's where I just saw him. Yeah, I just saw him.
That's where I just saw him. He's looking good too.
Yeah. I was like, geez, haven't aged a day.
Yeah, that Pluto TV money, they must have given him a pretty penny for.
Like, this is my deal. Like, you got to make me look this way. All right. Yeah. So next up, we've got I Am Groot. Everyone's favorite little tree, Baby Groot, will star in a series of shorts on Disney Plus featuring several new and unusual characters.
It's for kids.
But hold on. Before we go forward, this is where we start to see why we got 20 for the next 5 years.
Right.
Because you're just making shit up now.
Well, they've got to cater to their wide.
They're throwing.
Kids deserve better than that. Like we're just throwing shit at the wall now.
And they're gonna try to find out which one sticks, and I'm like, all right, then there you go. We're gonna focus on it.
Exactly. Like, stop.
I feel like this I Am Groot should have been done around Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
First one. Yeah,
exactly,
or the first one.
Yeah.
Exactly. It would have been a perfect promotional tie-in.
Yeah, but they didn't have
but the Kings of dropping the
then.
ball didn't have the forewithal that like let's capitalize on this. Let's do this, 4 years later.
Right. Yeah, because remember when Baby Groot was out, everyone was like, oh, Baby Groot. But now
now it's Baby Yoda. No one gives a shit about Baby Groot. Now you're going, oh, what about Baby? No, you're too little, too late, asshole.
Yeah, plus he's teenage Groot now.
Yeah,
man.
Right now.
I know he's a nasty little demon. Like you're like, I got two teenagers of my own to worry about. I don't need some fucking teenage tree.
Right. I'm Groot. Whoa, the language.
Yeah. So next up is a casting official announcement as far as we all know Christian Bale is going to be in Thor: Love and Thunder. So they just made it official as to who he's playing. It says here Academy Award winning actor Christian Bale will join the cast of Thor: Love and Thunder as the villain Gore the God Butcher in theaters May 6, 2022.
Hell yeah, he's gonna be the villain.
Yeah. And they are filming right now. They're filming right now.
This won't be a comedy then. I hope not. Because we're dealing because we're dealing with a lady that has cancer.
Right.
And a bad guy that actually kills gods.
Hey.
Yeah.
So this could be a dark Thor?
Nope. It might be the comedy of the century.
Oh my god.
I mean, I wouldn't mind bits of humor here and there.
Not all the time.
But it needs to be dark. Right. No, you're right. It needs for this subject material, it needs to be dark.
Yeah.
And maybe not dark.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be completely dark,
but it
it doesn't have to be like DC dark.
It can't be. It can't be. She's got cancer. Well, at least it's not snowing outside.
She has cancer. Is it breast cancer?
It's breast cancer, right? It's breast cancer?
I think it was a brain tumor, if I'm not mistaken.
Was it a brain tumor? Okay.
Yeah, because if it's breast cancer, because Korg would be like, oh, she has nice boobies. I'm like, really, fuck her. That's the issue. I think it was a brain cancer, a brain tumor, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know. You guys are the comic book experts. So.
If not, it's pancreatic. It's one of the. So
it is breast cancer.
Is it breast?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
And that's why when they initially announced this, I was like, man, this is
that's what I was.
There's going to be a powerful story, and I'm like,
if that's the case, then yeah. No, none of this. Like you have to come with some emotional, serious weight because this is a serious topic. It's not to say like you guys said. It's not to say that there cannot be some levity,
Right.
but don't pull this Marvel colorful bullshit with this. This is a serious subject. Have the balls to put some serious heft behind it.
Imagine Taika directing fucking Christian Bale. All right, bro, this is your scene.
But he can do it. He can do it if he just gets out of his own head. He
I know,
can do it.
but Christian Bale is so serious about his roles, man. And he's like, I'm a god
That's why I
butcher.
said he
I
better
kill
do it
fucking
because
gods.
Christian might whoop that ass if you're not, especially if it's meant to be serious. You
Oh,
saw
yeah.
what he did on Terminator Salvation.
And that was just the light guy.
Exactly. Exactly.
See, I'm curious as to how, because Mjolnir has been destroyed, and Jane Foster as Thor uses Mjolnir. So I'm curious as to how that's going to happen. Like, because we know that
Disney
in
magic.
Endgame,
Disney magic.
Cap took Mjolnir and took it
Yeah.
back. So took it back.
No,
to the
no. Yeah. So basically, Mjolnir is still alive because he took it back. Remember?
Right. Okay. So I guess I just have to explain how,
Yeah, exactly.
And
They'll
this
have-
is
it's
why
like-
time travel is fucking lazy writing because so many fucking questions you have to ask. What happened to Mjolnir?
By the way, this was so last Saturday night after we finished recording our regular podcast, I go on Twitter and what's trending? So I can't remember who posted it or who asked, like, pick like 4 movies, pick from these 4 movies. So it was One Must Go. So there's 4
One has to
movies,
go.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was Spider-Man 2, Logan. I can't remember the other one, but then the other one was Infinity War. And the other movie I can't remember, my goodness. But
Infinity War then. If
a lot of people were saying Infinity War goes.
There was no Man of Steel in there.
I don't think it was Man of Steel.
it was all
If
Marvel
there was
movies.
no
I
Man
think.
of Steel in there, Infinity War can kick fucking rocks 12 times over.
I think
Because
it
what
was.
do you got? You have Logan.
I think it was all Marvel movies.
Yeah,
But
it was all Marvel.
A lot of
Well, so-
people, a lot of people were picking Infinity War because they pretty much said like Infinity War was a mess. There was no real cohesive story or something like that. Oh, hold on. So it's
what was
Spider-Man.
the list?
You have to delete 1. Spider-Man 2, The Dark Knight, Logan, or Avengers: Infinity War.
Yeah, Infinity War.
Oh,
And
geez,
then
that's
that's
a
fucking
real
easy.
brain teaser.
A lot of people were deleting Infinity War. So this person said, so this is at Ayo It's Cal. They said Infinity War, and it's not even close. It's an absolute blast, but let's be honest, it's tonally confused. Doesn't know whether to be a drama or a comedy, and 80% of it is just action with no substance.
True.
But there's also that surprises me because there's also that fan base that says Dark Knight is overbloated, pretentious garbage.
True.
So that's why I'm surprised that at least Dark Knight's not in the running because there's a huge contingency that hates the Dark Knight.
Yeah, which I don't know. I mean, I'm obviously a huge fan of the Dark Knight.
So
that
am I.
trilogy, But
So am I.
when you watch that movie, everything is just so well written and it just all connects and makes sense. The motivations of the characters, the way the plot is designed, everything is just perfect. So
But that doesn't matter. It doesn't
Right.
matter for the toxic contingency. They don't care. The same for the Last Jedi haters who are, it's garbage. I don't care what redeemable qualities you bring to me. It's trash. And just to intervene, I know some of you will try and use that argument against me on Saturday for The Last of Us Part 2, but I will counter why there's a difference. So we'll move on until Saturday. That's a little taste for you guys to watch the podcast, listen to it, because
There you go.
a bomb's about to explode this week. That's the preamble. Sorry, I had to do it. I had to promote this podcast because some of you ain't listening and some of you ain't understanding. There's going to be boots to asses, as my boy Dwayne The Rock Johnson would say. Boots to ass.
Yeah. Alrighty. So
I'm
the
done.
last one, or the first to the last one is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantum Mania.
Nice.
So Peyton
Okay.
Reed is back to direct the third Ant-Man film, Ant-Man and the
Yep.
Wasp: Quantum Mania. Paul Rudd,
This is-
Evangeline Lilly, Michael Douglas, and Michelle Pfeiffer all return. Catherine Newton joins the cast as Cassie Lang, and Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror.
Nice. Okay. This is where they're going to introduce the Fantastic Four. I'm just letting you guys know that right now.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So
because
can you please elaborate?
Kang the Conqueror is one of the main enemies of the Fantastic Four, and also a big baddie in the Marvel universe. If you think Thanos is a giant, like Kang is a pretty bad guy. Like, let's just say that. Like, I'm hoping this is the Kang that they're not gonna dumb it
isn't
down
he a
like they
planet
did
or
with Thanos.
something?
Huh?
Isn't he a planet or something?
Kang? No, he's as far as I know, he's a super scroll, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, let me
Okay, so
let
I'm
me
thinking of a different person.
give me just one moment. Let me just.
So while you're getting,
I don't want to fucking lose my credentials here.
No, it's
Yeah.
not that. I'm getting my wires crossed with an X-Men.
Yeah, Kang the
X-Men.
Conqueror is a fictional character appearing in American comic books published by Marvel Comics. Character is most frequently depicted as an opponent of the Avengers and the Fantastic Four. So
So we'll either get the Avengers 5 or Fantastic Four. So
it's gonna be Fantastic Four, and then
I know, I get that. I'm just
yeah. So basically, he's a time traveling entity. Yeah, he's not a scroll. My mistake on that one. And basically, he let's see here. Expert historical scholar, time travel genius, level intellect, skilled tactician, hand-to-hand combat, resistance to radiation.
no, I got him mixed up with someone else from another.
Yeah,
An art.
but the
You
quantum.
know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. The quantum verse.
My question is, this is the opening for the Fantastic Four. Where's the opening for X-Men? When are we getting that?
they have not announced anything about the X-Men. The last
yet.
announcement.
Well, they haven't announced anything about the Fantastic Four either.
No, that's what I was gonna get to. That's the last announcement. They announced that John Watts will direct a new feature film for Marvel's first family, Fantastic Four. That's
All
it.
right. Okay.
That's it. No casting announcement.
Retract my
no date. Yeah. So
Yeah. This is the.
So who's John Watts? For us that don't know.
he directed Spider-Man: Homecoming and Far
There you
From
go.
Home, if I'm not mistaken.
There you go.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure for those of us that don't know.
So he's 1 for 2.
Oh
come
boy.
on.
So
What?
I do want to.
You think Far From Home is a fucking spectacular movie? No, I don't
No,
think
I
so.
didn't say Far From Home was a spectacular movie. I
so
just
he's 1 for 2.
I just don't think
He's 1 for
you're
2.
like you're like the Billy Joel song Shades of Grey, where it ends up being there's really no shades of gray. It's either black or it's white. Like it's
So
No, when people are
because
saying
that's
about
the
Ryan
thing,
Johnson,
it's
they're like,
like-
yo, no. I'm just
like,
saying.
just because it wasn't a masterpiece doesn't mean there wasn't redeemable qualities, and that doesn't mean that 1 for 2. You know,
yeah, so I want to backtrack real quick. In the Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania cast, Catherine Newton joins the cast as Cassie Lang. Catherine Newton can be currently seen right now in Freaky with Vince Vaughn.
yeah.
Unfortunately, Emma Furman, who played Cassie Lang, the teenage Cassie Lang, in Avengers Endgame, we were hoping. I was
We
hoping
were hoping it was her.
she would have continued on, but now they've recast to a little bit older Catherine Newton as a much older and different Cassie Lang. So, but yeah, Emma Furman I thought was great, and I've been following her on Instagram ever since Endgame. Like she got like in that one scene where she sees her dad, and she's like, it's like I was like, wow, that's really good acting. Like, you had one shot to like, show your range and what you can do, and like she was great. So yeah, that's it as far as the official stuff. They didn't. There was nothing big as like Doctor Strange or Spider-Man, but with all the Spider-Man casting news this week,
Hey, I heard Emperor Palpatine is going to be casted.
Emperor Palpatine is for some reason back. He's going to be in Spider-Man 3. Anakin Skywalker, Hayden Christensen, is going to be in Spider-Man 3, and so is Batfleck. So,
don't forget Henry Cavill as Kal-El. He's
Henry
going to be on
Cavill as the
Spider-Man
Man
3.
of Steel will be in Spider-Man.
And The Witcher, by the way, and The Witcher.
Hell yeah. Hey, will Shepard from Mass Effect be in there too?
Oh, there you go.
He has to be.
Everyone.
Everyone's going to be in the fucking...
But the hardcore Spider-Man fans that would love to get a part, a little nibble of like, hey, Spider-Man, I'm in the movie with you.
Man, how many fucking stars do you need to make like something to recover
I guess
far from home?
This is a good time to talk about it. They said it's been confirmed that Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst is set to return. Andrew Garfield as well, I guess, is his final talks, and possibly Emma Stone as well.
Okay.
So, and then of course
as Spider-Gwen.
Huh? Hopefully.
Okay.
That would be really cool if they did.
That would be amazing if it was Spider-Gwen, not Gwen Stacy.
Because technically, Gwen Stacy died. And then of course, also Alfred Molina as Doc Ock.
Yep.
So
I heard like a lot of people are talking smack about Alfred, Molina, like as Doc Ock. He was like one of the better villains because he was very endearing.
I think so. I was
like what, you guys don't remember Spider-Man 2 like all of us did, I guess.
Right. And I think that it's a very important relationship that Peter Parker develops with Otto Octavius. Is like he's a mentor, and that and then I was just watching Spider-Man 2 the other day.
Oh wait, another mentor.
Yeah. Who? Another mentor. Bye.
Jesus Christ.
Here's what I thought was interesting. So I've been playing the first Spider-Man game for PS4 a lot lately.
Yeah.
And we've been watching like Spider-Verse a lot. I mean, we've been watching it before, but lately, like we've been watching it much more now because
Christmas. Yeah, thanks Netflix.
But we do own the Blu-ray as well. So I was watching Spider-Man 2, and Leanna is not familiar with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man films because I think she's still too young for them. But anyway, I put in Spider-Man 2, and I just fast forward the really like Sam Raimi horror stuff, like with Doc Ock's like arms, like that would have
good stuff. The best.
Yeah. So I haven't seen Spider-Man 2 in a while, so I was like, with the Doc Ock announcement, I was like, this is pretty cool, and I'm appreciating it again because it was great when it came out, and I think it's still a great film.
It's still top 5 best comic book. Not just, it's still top 5. One of the greatest. Like I love that film. That's why I'm interested to see what he'll do with Doctor Strange.
He would be amazing. Sam Raimi's gonna be amazing.
Sam Raimi's he's brilliant. Like I aspire to be close to what he's doing because he went from the very, 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 very bottom of the barrel and came up to be like this. He's a household name now because of Spider-Man and because of what he's done. And I have immense respect for him. I can't wait to see what he does.
Yeah.
I'm very interested to see where this goes. Like, is this going to be like a like the Spider multiverse, or like, are we going down that road?
Because like, since Iron Man was the linchpin for the MCU, right, for the past 10 years, like I think they're passing the torch on to Spider-Man. That he's going to be the guy.
Would be nice. That would be nice because that's their biggest seller.
Yeah. Okay. So
Like the comic book wise, that's their biggest seller, and that's not to get too nerdy about it, but we have to. That's their biggest seller because that's their shoe in. If they make these movies big, they have potential new buyers for their comic books, which Spider-Man's already a huge seller in a struggling market. So we'll see what they do.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought it was interesting. I was watching Spider-Man 2, and then Peter Parker introduces himself, and he says Peter Parker, and Leanna, who's been used to Spider-Verse, she's like, he's Peter B. Parker.
Yeah.
And then when in Spider-Man 2, of course, Mary Jane is seeing someone else. She's seeing the son of J. Jonah Jameson, and so after her play, J. Jonah Jameson's son surprises her, and then she kisses him, and then Leanna's like, why are they not married? Like Peter Parker's not married to Mary Jane, because in Spider-Verse, Peter B. Parker's married to Mary Jane. Like she knows that fully, and I had to try to explain to her like they're not married here in this story. It's different. So
does she understand the difference, or?
Huh?
So does she understand the difference, or?
After you explain it to her, right?
I had to explain it to her because she's so used to knowing these characters in Spider-Verse.
Yeah, it's ingrained into her.
Yeah. And then even in the game, when I was playing the game, like when she sees Mary Jane, I was trying to tell her like, oh, they're not married here yet. They're not married here yet.
So
she's gonna have a culture shock the day you get to Miles Morales, because that's gonna be what? Because there's a scene specifically in there where she's gonna be like, through the first half of the game where you're playing. I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but there's a certain thing that there happens through the first act of the game where she's gonna be like, that ain't Spider-Man. Like she's gonna say that. I will bet money on that. She will utter, that ain't Spider. That's not Spider-Man.
Really? Oh boy.
Julius played it. I saw him nodding his head, so he knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well,
but I hope Miles is added into that movie somehow, some way. Because
Mike said no.
Well, I didn't say no. I meant like get a cameo, give Miles a cameo, but he needs his own movie.
Yeah.
You got to introduce him as a cameo.
Okay.
Give him his own movie.
So there, I 100% agree. So yes, please give him a cameo, introduce him just like you did with these games. He does deserve his own movie. Because after playing this game, at first I was like, but after playing this game, you really do, from what you get from him in the first game, the Spider-Man game, they really, unlike another game that I know, but I will not be mentioned, they actually develop the character and make a sequel that is actually worthy. And this isn't, and newsflash, this isn't even a real sequel, but they make a sequel for the sake of argument that it's worthy of its predecessor. So I really hope Miles gets his day.
Yep.
And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Till Saturday.
This is gonna be a hot take, but Miles Morales is my favorite Spider-Man.
That's awesome.
So
I could actually see that. That would be a hot take for the.
No, I'm a proponent.
Nerd, you know
I'm a proponent. I'm a proponent of Peter Parker. Peter Parker is one of the greatest characters I've ever read in comic books. Right, like a good guy, good student. Always wants to do good. Always strives to be good. He doesn't have the money like Batman and Iron Man has, so he does what it takes to figure out how to get his web slinging fluid and all that stuff like in the comic books. So he works extra hours. He does this. He mixes it up himself and all that stuff, and he invents the web fluid and everything. And he always tries. He always tries to doesn't matter how difficult or how strong or how powerful that enemy is. He's gonna try his best to beat him, no matter what. he's gonna risk life in them. So that's why he's one of the better characters. Story wise, now after reading Miles's story, I gotta give it to Miles, man. It's it's a lot more personal, like in a sense, just
And
because
and as the guy who's the normie around here, excluding horror films, I have to speak as the normie here, and I'm going off the game.
Mhm.
And from that, I could actually understand where you're coming from, and I actually am going to seek out Miles Morales comic books now because the
Please do.
the game actually conveys the personal
Yep.
struggle that Miles has to go through, and that's why I like this game. It's actual character development, and you see him develop. I'm not done with it yet. However, from what I've seen so far, I'm already seeing those little tidbits of the boy evolving into the man and what he's had to struggle with. I'll just leave it at this. Mike, you're right. Miles needs his own fucking movie. Give him
Yep.
that.
Yeah, because I think you
Like-
we pretty much got a taste of that with Spider-Verse, but then now, like, after the success of that, I mean, yeah, it could have made more, but the story was just top notch.
It was great.
Now it's time.
I still
to
still
get
think
a
it's the
live
best.
action.
I still think it's the best Spider-Man I've ever seen. Spider-Man movie. That's even including Spider-Man 2, and that's a tall task for me. I love
Um,
Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, it's a thought.
I love Spider-Man 2, but after watching Spider-Verse multiple times, I had to give it to Spider-Verse, man.
I'll 100% agree with you, Kuya. Spider-Man 2 still just slightly,
Above
barely holds
yeah.
on to that, but we're talking about that
1A,
little,
1B.
like that fingertip on the gargoyle that slipping off right before you go, ah! Because
Yeah.
Spider-Verse, and if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't have watched it, especially you, Mike.
Really?
You deserve more props before anybody, because if it wasn't for you really hammering it home, I wouldn't have given this damn thing a time of day because I'm not an animation guy.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm not into it
Right,
it's old animation like X-Men,
Mhm.
right.
old Spider-Mans, the like old Batman, the old Batman animated series, Batman Beyond. We know what I'm talking about.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
I'm not into this new animation shit. I hate it. I hate it. But because of your endorsement, I watched it and I fell in love with it. And it's like you said, Kuya, it's close for me. It's
1A,
Spider-Man
1B.
2 is
1A.
very
Yeah.
on any given Sunday and the wind blows a certain direction,
You might go
Spider-Man 2 falls off, and it's so they're both
Yeah.
they both have a special place in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what we can get from Spider-Man out of here, because I'm not I stopped listening. I stopped caring about Spider-Man after the Maximum Clonage series. Like
Yep.
I quit caring, because that to me was the last really great story arc.
Yeah.
That it ended for me. I
Yeah.
have not picked up. I came close with the Superior Spider-Man shit,
Mm-hmm.
but I just couldn't get into it and I just dropped it. But not since Maximum Clonage have I actually been interested in Spider-Man. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that Spider-Verse movie, when I saw that in the theater,
It was awesome.
I was blown away. I was like,
So was
wow, I can't believe this story is just, and the soundtrack, the animation, everything.
You know what my wife said when we saw that movie? She said it was like reading a comic book that I understood. Because she says like the way the movie was shot was like panel for panel, like a comic book type of
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And she hates reading comic books. I have comic books and she hates reading them because like she
And-
doesn't know where to go and all that stuff, right? So for her, like seeing the movie like that, and she understood why people love comic books. Is because it's exactly the way it is.
Right.
And that's funny you mentioned that, because my grandmother and I had the almost exact same experience. She hates comic books. She respects the lineage because, let's face it, she grew up with the lineage. She saw these guys come from the bottom of the barrel to where they're at right now, including Superman. So she has a very fine respect for him because she knows more about him than we do, because she saw them come up from the bottom to the where they're at today. Like I said, she doesn't like comic books. Her favorite is Spider-Man, only second to Superman. Her favorite is Spider-Man, and she gave it a chance. That's the only reason why she gave it a chance. She loved it, and she had a similar experience where she goes, I understand why you guys watch read the comic books and talk about them, because she understood what those panels meant, what the whole story meant, and she fell in love with it. If my grandmother can fall in love with it,
anybody can.
Pessimists like me who hates everything for the most part, except for horror and darkness. If a black heart like me likes it, it's worth pursuing.
Yeah.
So I just can't wait to see what we got.
Yeah. I mean, I'm very curious on how they're gonna do this third movie. You know, with all of these A-listers and all that stuff, and you know, I don't know. Maybe it's just like little cameos here and there, but Tom Holland is still. I hope he's still in the center of everything.
Yeah, he has to be. Like that's my question. So this is for the third Spider-Man, the Far From
Tom
Home
Holland,
sequel, right?
From Tom Holland.
And Tom Holland has to be a part of that, because whether you like his Spider-Man or not, he is part of the reason why Spider-Man is having a resurgence. You go back to Civil War. So if you were just to have a cameo of him and just be like, ho hum, that's not good enough. He deserves more respect than that.
Right.
So I would hope he would have more than a cameo. And it's not overburdened by yesteryear Spider-Man from here, future Spider-Man from here, which I would love to see Spider-Man from a future era, but I won't talk about that because we'll get into a longer video and we'll be here until 6 a.m. But we need to still have Tom Holland at the center focal piece of that. Just like have a similar scenario to when Madam Web came into the Spider-Man cartoon episode. We got all those Spider-Men, but we still had Peter as the focal point.
Yeah, there's a meme and it said breaking news, Tom Holland will cameo in Spider-Man 3 and he won't have a part anymore.
Which I'm kind of hoping we get a Madam Web. That would be
oh man.
That would be nice to
give me Ben Reilly then. Give me Ben Reilly as Scarlet Spider.
Why not? Yeah. Why not? That's what I'm talking about.
Isn't that your favorite, Mike? That's your favorite Spider, right? Ben Reilly.
I love the character of Ben Reilly. I just love
he's the asshole.
Huh?
He's the asshole Spider-Man. He has the mouth. He's the mouthy guy.
I dig the denim jacket with the red like bodysuit. Oh my god. Yeah. I used to draw that all
Actually, that was my favorite toy growing up. Like I used to have a war between him and the King Predator, and I actually had some pretty awesome headcanon as a kid, like why they were fighting each other, the logic between it. It was a very interesting, but that's for another tier,
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I also love how the suit evolved when he got the spider suit, and he had like the large spider on his front, on his chest, and on the back. And then you could see like the web shooters on his wrists. Like I love the action figure of that. Like that was awesome. But yeah, I do want to mention also we are getting Spider-Verse 2 in 2022. So I'm looking forward to that.
So
it's gonna be with the 2099 Spider-Man.
2099, and we are going to get and that's voiced by Oscar Isaac. We do get that
Keep taking those roles, Oscar.
we do get that. Yeah, we do get that scene at the end of the first Spider-Verse, which I thought was awesome. And then
You're Spider-Man. I'm Spider-Man. No, I'm Spider-Man.
yeah, he
Why are
drops
you
into,
pointing?
like, Spider-Man like 67, I think. The
65, yeah.
or 65, yeah, animated series. Also, we are also gonna get Spider-Man from Japan, the Japanese Spider-Man
Hell yeah.
with a giant monster.
Hell
So,
yeah.
I do want to mention, I started watching the Marvel 616 series, docu-series. The first episode is the Japanese Spider-Man, and my God, I enjoyed that episode. If you like Power Rangers, you're gonna like this episode, and you like Spider-Man, you're gonna like the history of it. Like, it's just amazing what they came up with, and the fact that he would. So I actually took notes, man. I guess now is the time to, like, I'll briefly mention it. So, okay, so the guy, one of the American guys that was in Japan, basically understood, like, in America, comics are meant to be read. You read the balloons and all the words. In Japan, their manga, it's meant to be viewed with the strong, powerful images. So that's the difference. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense. And then, of course, they inspired it.
Difference of direction.
Yeah, and they were inspired by Kamen Rider, aka Masked Rider. So, and I know Masked Rider as Masked Rider Black from the Philippines, and then here, of course, he's known as Kamen Rider. And then, so Spider-Man there is not Peter Parker. Like, so basically, when they adapted it, nothing of Peter Parker. The Spider-Man there was his name is Takuya, and he was talking to.
I knew you.
He was literally talking to a spider. A spider was talking to him. A spider crawling. They show the spider. Spider's crawling, and the spider's like talking to him with a voice. The spider's telling him like, "Come, my brother, it's time for revenge." Like, holy shit! Spider-Man Revenge. And then, so the actor that plays Spider-Man, that plays Takuya, used to be an extra, and when he landed the role, he was like, "Oh my God, this is my first lead role, and it's Spider-Man." So
and he's like super serious about it.
Yeah. So yeah, it says here Takuya meets Garawa from Planet Spider. He puts the bracelet on, and it injects something into his bloodstream, which gives him the spider powers. And then he even says, like, Spider-Man says this exact quote: "I'm an emissary from hell, Spider-Man." And then he does his pose, and it was like, holy shit, like, what is this? And then his bad guys are like Professor Monster, and then there was Ninder, but they pronounce it Ninda. So it was really, really fascinating. And then they also came up with like a robot that he had, like the Power Rangers, and then a car. That's where he had a car. And that's why I guess now you can even trace that back to Spider-Man. When you go at the toy aisle, Spider-Man's in a car. He's got a motorcycle. He's got, because kids don't really care about that. Like, it's cool. Kids love motorcycles and cars. So
toys.
Let's put Spider-Man there. Yeah. So they also use that to sell the show with the toys. And they had a really low budget. Some of the shots, like the faraway shots, a giant monster is throwing Spider-Man. You can tell like it's a toy. Like when you see the series, like you show a shot, and it's just gold. It's great, man. It's amazing. So and then of course that's when they would reuse scenes, and then that's also what they did with a lot of the Power Rangers. Like, it's the same shot, like, so that helped them with a low budget. And then there was one sequence where, excuse me, the stuntman was dressed as Spider-Man, had to climb up 30 to 40 meters on the Tokyo Tower without a lifeline whatsoever. He was just free-handing that shit. And that was insane. That was really insane. Because he was like, the producers were like telling him, like, don't fall. And that's it. Like, holy shit. Like, and they were saying, like, back in the day, you could get away with that stuff. You could not get away with that today. Like, and then when they when you see Spider-Man and he climbs up, or he like jumps up the ceiling and he sticks to the ceiling, there's a rope there's a hole in the ceiling and a rope to the actor's chest or the stuntman, and they pull him up. So he's like, it looks like he's sticking to the wall. And it was like, wow. They're like, it sounds really corny and cheesy and it's low budget, but man, for that time,
But it worked.
it worked exactly. Excuse me. And then when they were going to show Stan Lee and the executives, especially the U.S. executives, Marvel executives, like, hey, check out what we've made so far. A lot of the as soon as they finished like the first episode or whatever, they showed them the footage they shot. There was no reaction. It was just like quiet. And Stan Lee stood up and he was applauding. And then he's even said like, this is great. It's a living comic book. Stan Lee really loved the Japanese Spider-Man because it really like fleshed out like comic books, and it brought it to life. Because the Spider-Man movie prior in America was not the best. It was not a good hit. And a lot of the producers that made that Spider-Man movie in the US were not really listening to Stan Lee. They were just like, whatever, like we'll do our own shit, and then you can just, pretty much F off. So the show became a hit, and then of course the merchandise and the toys were selling. And then there was another series that got inspired from the Spider-Man show, the Japanese Spider-Man, called Battle Fever J. And then of course the Japanese Spider-Man, essentially the guy that helped produce it, I forgot his name. He likes to say that Japanese Spider-Man essentially started the Power Rangers, helped give birth to that. So it's a really cool episode. It's really worth checking out. And again, I did post on my social media a shot of the actor, like one of the actors, like he's in the costume. I think it's probably modern footage that they just shot for the show to add in between, but it's a guy in the Japanese Spider-Man outfit, and he's like doing the poses, and it reminded me of Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man with the way he looked and the way he was posing. So I thought that was interesting. But yeah, that's Marvel 616. That's the first episode, Japanese Spider-Man, and we're gonna see Japanese Spider-Man in Spider-Verse 2. So I'm excited for that. That's gonna be really cool.
So, who else do you think is going to be in the Spider-Man 2 or Spider-Verse 2?
Spider-Verse 2?
You think Spider-Gwen's going to come back? That's for sure.
Armored Spider-Man.
Yeah, could be armored Spider-Man. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, at this point, like, it's up for grabs.
I mean, it could be Ben Reilly.
Give me Ben Reilly. I mean,
Because if 2099 Spider-Man is going to be there, and you can get another one, yeah.
That would be the perfect scene for Ben Reilly to be like, "Hey, you're me," or like, "You're a clone." Like, why do you look like me? So
Get the fuck out of here! Like, oh wait, no, that's an R-rated movie.
there's a meme of
Get the heck out.
There's a meme of Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, and Tom Holland Spider-Man, in that cartoon, like pointing at each other, like, if they don't meet like this, like they're pointing at each other, like, hey, like, I don't know, like, or at least reference that. Like, that would be cool. Fun. Yeah.
That'd be awesome if they did that with the third movie.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And they were the maximum clonage. So they weave that in there somehow. That would be awesome.
Right. And we're
find out that Tobey Maguire may not be the real Peter Parker, and
oh boy. And then
we find a new suit on him, and then we go from there,
And then you're gonna get the hardcore fanboys and be like, "No, that's not.
That's not my Spider-Man. Nah, that's not my Spider-Man."
Ladies and gentlemen, come close. Hardcore fanboys, come close. Fuck them. one more time for the cheap seats. A little louder. Fuck them. I don't care. I don't care about those fanboys. I don't care about, because those are the same fanboys that tried to have the audacity to run me out of wrestling. So, fuck them.
Alrighty. Well, I think that's a good time to end this emergency podcast. We've talked about Lucasfilm and its future. We've talked about Star Wars, new streaming shows, movies, and other Lucasfilm projects, and of course the Marvel Cinematic Universe, both on the big screen and the small screen. So and that we haven't even touched ground on the other Disney projects. One of which I thought was interesting is we're going to get a Buzz Lightyear animated series, not based on the toy, but based on the real person in the universe that the toy was based on. And it's going to be voiced by Chris Evans. So that sounds really fascinating. That first screenshot that they showed, or that still of a human Buzz Lightyear, man, looks like, and it's a Pixar movie, like, of course. It's just wow. Just when you thought you've seen everything in Toy Story, and people were saying like Toy Story 4 was unnecessary, like, yeah, tell that to my kids who loved it, seeing it on the big screen. That was their first Toy Story big screen experience, you know. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what other Disney stuff they come up with. And by the way, yeah, no updates on Black Widow as far as Disney Plus.
Just send it through already. Just fucking we don't care about it in the movie theaters anymore.
Right. They did announce.
Yeah, we're not risking our life to see that, so just pass it on through.
I think
we might do it for Wonder Woman. We ain't doing it for your Black Widow. Has been I'll give you 5 years too late, and that's being generous. So
no, they should have done it in phase 2, man.
Yeah,
I do too, but I'm being generous. So
I think what they're going to do is they did announce the Raya and the Last Dragon, so that's coming to theaters on March 5th, and Disney Plus with premiere access on March 5th. So I think they're going to follow the same model for Black Widow in May, if I'm not mistaken. Or April. I can't remember when.
Wait, so Disney, we watch it on Disney Plus, and then you have to pay again for the movie?
Premiere access. That's what it's all about, baby.
Blow it out your ass, Disney.
I do want to mention, I was talking to this with Pinhead. Disney Plus, and Disney, I guess, is not in the position where they don't need the subscribers because they've hit their 5-year goal within 9 months.
Yeah, so they hit the plateau.
They can do all the premiere access they want. They know people will pay for it. And yeah, the movie may be free 2-3 months later on Disney Plus, but they know people will still pay for it because, you know, a lot of the other fans and a lot of other viewers, especially now, like, we just want something new.
Because I want to be first to see it, and I want to comment on my social media.
Exactly, and that's the brilliance of it, because they got you either way. They got the subscriptions for the people that know they'll be the first to see it, and they got the subscription for the people that say, I'll just wait until it's free. And They got Kuya because he's using mine, who will continue to be using that while we wait for it to be free, because I'm not paying you cocksuckers anything beyond my premium.
By the way, Mulan,
your waitress
now on Disney Plus. So
I am waiting to I agree with Pinhead. I will wait. I can wait. I have the patience for it. And
either way, they got us all. So it's a moot point because they got us all. Somehow, some way, this rotten, big-eared mouse fuck got us all. And all we can't deny it. You can try to, but he's got us all. So
yeah.
Right. All right. Good point to end the show. Thank you guys for listening. If you want to follow us on Instagram, you can follow us at FMANDTV. That's the show. Filmmaker Mike and the boys. You can also leave us a voice message on this episode, or any feedback you may have. You can leave us a voice message on Anchor. We should have the link in the show notes. And you can follow me on Instagram at FilmmakerMike. Kuya.
New Instagram at Old Man Jimmy, Jimi. Somebody followed me already, and I don't know who they are, so it kind of creeped me out.
Probably me.
No. It says Brian, so I'm not sure if it was somebody like a fan of ours or a listener of ours, but thank you for following. Yeah, just, you know, I've only posted things about the show over there yet. So, but like sooner or later, I'm gonna do something more creative for that particular social media platform. So, go ahead, Pinhead.
Yeah, you can follow me on my Instagram at pinhead198 or follow me on my Facebook at James Crubb. I'm gonna be doing some retrospectives here pretty soon. My biggest one, considering that Francis Ford Coppola released his new cut, I'll be doing a Godfather retrospective.
Mm.
Really going in depth about why I really love this movie, why I think it is the most important trilogy of all time, why I think it's one of the most important group of films. I will at least say, at best, if you don't think so, Godfather Part 2. But we'll get into that. And we'll have my opinion on what I think about the Coda, the new Godfather remake. We'll go into that. And also, the most important thing to promote this podcast, please listen to it. The showdown is coming. If you have the guts. I've taken off my mask, Brad. And I've shown my true colors. Let's see if you have the guts to take off yours. We'll see. This Saturday's the showdown, ladies and gentlemen. Watch the show. Listen to it. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple. We've done the whole spiel. Please tune in, because if you didn't care before, you should care about this, because it is a rivalry that I didn't even know I had. And I'm going to go in depth. I'm going to go real in depth. I'm going to get a little triggered because I'm entitled now. You thought I was pissed off before. I'm not. I haven't been this pissed off in a long time, because certain things that have happened in my life have pissed me off. Well, guess what? You're going to want to tune into this podcast. Please do. I'll leave it at that. Brad, Sugar Date, I can't wait for you to actually get inside the oven once it's been past preheated, because you haven't been roasted. And I'm sure you got some for me. But buddy boy, baby boy, you're my stepson. I'm your father. I'm whooping out the belt. I got something for you, baby boy. And you ain't gonna like it. And that's all I gotta say about that. Tune into the damn podcast. It's free. There's no reason why you shouldn't be. Watch a kid get the belt put across his bum. And that's all I gotta say.
Oh, and
Alrighty.
also we want to advertise Sequester Jester's Instagram
Yes.
and Twitter, because he's gonna get butt hurt because like
Yeah.
nobody advertised my stuff. So
But
add
you-
Sequester Jester on Instagram and add Sequester J for Twitter, and he's also has a OnlyFans account.
And it is, ooh, it's sweet, baby. So you definitely want to get on that. Sequester Jester, we did you a favor. We shouted you out. You need to put a little more content and put some more effort on there. I know you got your OnlyFans, but you need more than OnlyFans. I can't be your only fan, baby.
Alrighty. Well, thank you guys for listening. Until next time, may the force be with you.
Saturday.
Bye.
Peace out, fuckos.